June 15th, 2022. I'm in this particular Union Jack. I'm watching, or on came today, Shrek the Third, and I'm looking at it. And now again, it's cartoon, and I'm watching it in my damaged position. And I'm looking for the clues and the signs and the remnants of the generals and the kings that insult one another elsewhere or here for whatever purpose. I don't know who's involved. There's some kind of studio, but it's like at feeling and looking the size of what is Fiona. So I'm watching the Shrek the Third that came out in 2007, and there's a frog dying. Now again, it's under a lily pad, which frightens me in mistranslation at the 7 of man. Don't want to tangle with the 6 and then wind up in a cancerous tangle in quantum shreds of whatever. I'm like the size of what they're portraying as a Fiona. As a woman, I don't find it funny. As an 8, I definitely don't find it funny. They name this frog Harold. I'm like, the old Har, H-A-R, like old kingdoms that are, I don't know, looks like ruins at the moment in an R-U-I-N, not an R-U-N-E, in a place I've never visited. And then I'm looking at Shrek and Fiona as this is what 20th century, like my color skin, when the liver enzymes and the kidneys are damaged by all this consumption and chemical ingest with no way of escaping it. I mean, when excretion is no longer an option because the toxins are so heavy in the field. I mean, there's thresholds and mantles of things, but yet it's, and then starting the movie in like this Prince Charming kind of a way. And no, I had one of those when I was 6 who said it was a family relative and whatever, he had to go somewhere, do whatever his responsibility was, wanted me to know that he existed and was real. In that theater and that pantomime, not to the excess that the DreamWorks has made it, but it also has an SKG in there, for Great Beyond. They label it as he's charming, and it's far, far away. I see the signs and symbols at BOSUN, and quirky and charming. I get it, kind of, sort of, in a not really way. For me, though, the fact that this consumption plan of whatever it is, I mean, like, again, there's a big green machine of money-making opportunities. I get that somebody has some brand, and the chemical induction of this might cause the health to fail. And then they have some other money-making machine with drugs and with hospitals and things. And in some areas, they allow the people to live, and they actually try to, like, do the right thing and not let them deteriorate. But for some reason, in this area in New York, it's a complete opposite. I have a feeling it has something to do with whoever the manager is at Piecemeal, Piecemeal. So that's a problem. And it's an unbeknownst problem. I don't know who it is. So, and then it goes into like other whatever. But I can see the signs clearly displayed in this movie. And the disgustingness, I mean, they even say, like, they're they're visiting the castle where the king lives, and then all of a sudden they leave. They're like, you're ready to go home to where the vermin and the dirt and the pretty much squalor is. I mean, it's very pronounced, the difference of the whatever. I get that. Thing was trying not to live in a place where there's so many toxins that it literally melts your skin off, blows your skin up, it starts to sag. There's so much, it's just, it's food ingestion, it's the level of sunlight. I don't know what they're pumping in the air through the gas tanks. They're burning some kind of vapor. It's making the UV light saturation all the more harmful, it feels like. To the eyes, the sunlight to the eyes, which is why I try to keep my eyes covered as much as I can. And that's like only if I can remember, because the sunlight's so high, it's almost like temporal paralysis through the ocular nerve. Like there's some kind of dysfunction going on there. But again, like these movies, one after the next, I see it's as dream works. So someone's dream is working, but it feels like it's a dig on whatever this SKG is. And at Kingsguard, I can only imagine. I don't know which letter the S stands for at the moment. I didn't make it. I wasn't part of the creation team. I don't know. Didn't contribute money to whatever or whoever put this together. I don't know for what purpose it was. Is it making fun of oneself? Is somebody else making fun? I'm not quite sure how any of the egocentric or ego-driven is driving this whatever. I mean, it gets really confusing. Then there's Rana in Italiano. There's Ranocchio. And then there's Pinocchio with the donkey ears. And then in Shrek, there's the donkey and the dragon have children. And like that's like a whole nother set of, that might be insulting to like, I mean, I at this point have non-ABO negative child, so whatever. But I am just in a state of like, wow, they really made this like anticlimactic and really chaotic. I mean, no wonder why nothing ever gets done and there's wars being fought still. So this is what it looks like. The old har under the lily pad, just like on its last breath, just about to die off, it looks like, which is really insulting and really like horrible from my point of view. Like it's tearjerker worthy. Not that anybody who's non-theatrical would understand. I mean, there's some form of theological, philosophical, I don't know, again, that's like I guess the artist or the creator part. But really nobody to like enjoy that with, because they don't exist in this nothingness of New York, where like it feels like their main goal is to just get you to consume as much and keep you as distracted as possible so other things get done in other ways. And now I feel like I've turned, like I'm not as, at times I feel a little yellow. Again, there's so many features that it could be out here. Here's the part with the Harold, or the old Har.
I'm dying. Harold? Don't forget to pay the gardener, Lillian.
Of course, darling.
Fiona,
Yes, Daddy?
I know I've made many mistakes with you,
It's okay.
but your love for Shrek has taught me so much. My dear boy, I am proud to call you my son.
And I'm proud to call you my frog king dad-in-law.
Now,
This is Shrek the Third. My feelings on the first one are completely separate than this particular arrangement. Kind of like a melody where they say an umbrella term that it's a certain whatever, but if they rearrange and take out sheets of a particular musical arrangement, rearrange it, not everybody feels the way they did about the original. That's how I feel. Like, I have one feeling for the first one and totally different feeling for this third one. Now, interestingly enough, there's a cat reference, and then it goes into this disgusting conversation, but just how filthy the people that know are and continuously allow this to happen and transpire and even help build systems making it worse and totally turning a blind eye to what needs to be done in some category of humans that have power to change things, but whatever, and I've been unable to find them in a real meaningful way. Here's what the conversation looks like, which is at fourth decade, being left in New York on my own without the original person who said he would come back for me, or introducing me to wherever, in whatever. It's so disgusting. And this next scene is just obscene, and it could be anybody's scene at this level of rot and neglect and just... I mean, some people like it. Some people love their cookies, their candy, their McDonald's. They don't want to be bothered. They don't want to be pushed into anything. They want to just live and die happily in Greece and high cholesterol and stuff. And I'm fine. Whatever they want for themselves. I just don't like being punished and thrown into that category and forced to live that way. I just don't. Goes back to more personal freedoms and ability taken away by some larger break in the system that I can't quite figure out how to get out of and get to where I need to be.
Just think. Couple more days, and we'll be back home in our vermin-filled shack strewn with fungus, filled with the rotting stench of mud and neglect.
Oh, you had me at vermin-filled.
And, maybe even the pitter-patter of little feet on the floor.
That's right, the swamp rats will be spawning.
No. You know, what I was thinking of is a little...
Now, here comes Don't Stop Believing, Mommy's little angel.
you're right. I can't let this happen. I can't. I am the rightful king of far, far away. And I promise you this, Mother. I will restore dignity to my throne. This time, no one will stand in my way.
So there is like that, and then yesterday I was watching the Care Bears version, looking for more signs and clues of the psychological thriller that America's been using to almost relay messages. And like a relay or a track switch with, again, these cartoony animals, the hybrid theoreticals. I mean, they've been doing whatever. But in pantomimes and political satire, and I don't know. So as far as watching them, trying to pick through what's relevant at the moment based on where this nothingness has led in a really like frightening, like I'm at 4th decade, health is starting to deteriorate. There's been no ability to even earn money to save for a sickness. There's nowhere to turn to try to get the health part corrected. There's no direct contact to anything that was around in my youth. They've all disappeared. I mean, it's frightening. And then in the Care Bear portion of it, they have this like Nicholas, like with the trunk and then a spell book, and then everybody goes from being super happy to super angry. And it's like, yeah, okay, well, when everybody starts seeing the car portion going in care a lot, at the E-lot, it's going to be a real problem when people start turning sick and having breathing problems and so on and so forth, and then calling for reform, but other people don't want to let go of their cars, and then whoever's making money on the gas portion, it's like, oh my God. And then it's this frightful new edition. I mean, it's just, I had this one guy, local person, he wasn't a guy, he was a person, who I sat underneath a security camera with him at Applebee's. He took me out to dinner, which I thought was very nice, but in an open setting, and it was not fanciful, it was just informative. Wrote a book on antique cars. And I even said to him, I said, and what makes you, human, think that the car was such a great idea and that everybody should have free transport to just deliver themselves at any time of the day unexpectedly? And he was like, I said, well, I mean, if you think about it at one level, the world was more secure when it ran by railway and you could expect cargo, shipment, and people on a schedule. Now it's so haphazard. I have no idea how the authorities and the police are able to keep anyone safe. I mean, that's how out of control everyone is now, that they all have their own personal transport and can cause trouble at any point. It's frightening. And he was like, yeah, never had a conversation like that, huh? But that's just this area. They keep repairing the roads. They keep selling more cars. They keep preparing for movement at nobody knows what schedule. And then there's big industry that's built around it. That, I mean, I'm not benefiting from any of it. I'm sure somebody is somewhere. But in a couple of tweaks and rearrangements, this really dangerous health environment. I mean, you could go from a dying planet to revitalizing and making the planet more healthy. But like I even had this conversation with a relative just recently. I'm like, there's those small changes like buying an electric car or whatever, and recycling your whatevers, and trying not to take long showers, and being mindful of your actions and whatever footprint you leave. I was like, but there's a gigantic disconnect between the personal system that people either choose to partake in or not, and then this larger project of needing to make like a substantial change to the system. Somewhere in the center of middle management, it's like it gets lost. I don't know. I mean, because I think the really, really top knows that the planet's dying, the animals are dying. They can reach individually through campaigns the bottom branch, but there's this like middle level of I don't know what that seems to be not really engaged in this notion, and like toot sweet, like it needs to be fast. Vite, vite, vite. I mean, it's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's like living in a dying machine inside a dying planet and not having anyone to reach out to. It's really frightening. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza, Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken. Space Side Station.